You're the first kids to nominate an educator to be interviewed, Miss Lopez. And we hope that you're the first of many. We think you should be starting a trend of a bunch of kids looking at their teachers and deciding who should be interviewed on the podcast. And you guys are always going to be the first. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Welcome to Oxygen for Educators, part of the Ripple Maker Project. I'm one of your hosts, Michelle Kinder, and you'll meet Chris Kent Phelps in just a bit. It's our hope to bring you thought-provoking, unscripted conversations full of actionable ideas to fuel your important work in the world. Thanks for tuning in. This space is for you. Okay, Chris, I'm glad to see you again. We get to talk about the amazing Will and Max and Miss Lopez. So let me hear what you're thinking as a proud aunt and as co-host and listener.
This was by far one of my favorite episodes, just to have the kid voice on it. So I'm so excited to start doing this type of episode going forward. It adds a lot of perspective.
Yeah, their clarity about what puts them in the optimal learning state and how important that relationship is to them building confidence and to them kind of feeling comfortable making mistakes and like all the things that need to happen for good learning. It was just like the most succinct, powerful advertisement for all of the supports that need to be put in place that are not academic.
100%. So we should tell our listeners this is a new type of episode that we're doing. It is our first ever kid-nominated podcast guest, Miss Lopez, who's a fourth grade teacher at Linda Lyons in Heath, Texas. And she was nominated, full transparency, by my nephews, Max and Will Kent, who are fourth grade, well, I guess now fifth grade students. They finished school yesterday. So they're going to be our guest introducers of their teacher, Miss Lopez, and we'll talk more about how we came up with this idea and how they presented her as the perfect guest for our podcast when we dive in after the interviews. So we'll start with Will and Max Kent's interview, and then we'll move into your interview with Miss Lopez, and then come back and debrief.
Love it.
Let's do it. Meet Will and Max Kent.
Well, hello, Max and Will.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome. I am so happy that we are doing this because you two are the first kids we've ever had on the Oxygen for Educators podcast, number one. And number two, you're the first kids to nominate an educator to be interviewed, Miss Lopez. And we hope that you're the first of many. We think you should be starting a trend of a bunch of kids looking at their teachers and deciding who should be interviewed on the podcast. And you guys are always going to be the first. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I'm excited.
So first of all, tell everyone your name, your grade, and anything else you want about yourself. And I don't know, do we start with Max, since he was born 3 minutes early, or
Youngest
do we
goes
start?
First. Youngest goes first.
Youngest goes first.
Youngest,
Okay,
okay.
I see y'all have had this decision making process before, right?
No.
Okay, so then Will, you start us out. Tell folks about you.
My name is Will, and I'm in fourth grade, and we only have 2 days left of school, and then I'm going into fifth grade with Max. So
Basically a fifth grader.
but yeah,
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then my name is Max Kent. I'm in fourth grade, going in the fifth. We have about 2.5 days left. Because yeah.
You want to make sure that half day gets counted.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get it taken out early a bit
Yeah.
for the half day.
Okay,
we're getting taken
okay.
out at 12.
Oh, okay. So it's literally to the minute 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, before we started recording, you all were telling me that there's some end of school ritual that you're doing with Miss Lopez where you're popping a balloon.
Oh yeah. So
tell me
yeah,
about
that's
that.
basically with all the teachers. Every day before the end of the day, we kind of all go out in the hall. We pop a balloon, and then it tells us like what we're gonna do each day. I think tomorrow in the morning, you dress up as 90s and you like dance. Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing that one though.
80s, I don't know.
80s or 90s? Do y'all have an outfit planned, or is that
No.
to,
I mean,
to
I'm
be
probably not
determined?
gonna dress up, but it's gonna be pretty fun though. So, like,
You're up for the dancing,
funny.
but maybe not the dress up.
Yeah.
And today, what was the balloon for today?
The balloon today was
the balloon for today, it was let me think. I forget stuff easily. I think it was. Oh yeah, we had a movie all day.
Oh,
with,
yeah,
like
movie.
bubble gum, and then at the end of the day,
brownies.
we just brownies, and then
Popcorn.
more bubble gum, popcorn, and then we just watched movie for the whole entire day, until we had to get cut through the middle and go to PE, and then come back and watch movie.
So y'all are your teachers in your school are helping you move yourself into summer in super fun ways these last few days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it
good.
was really fun for the last couple days.
That's good. I want to change the subject a little and hear your thoughts about Miss Lopez.
Okay.
Tell me what you were telling your Aunt Chris about that made her go, whoa, this teacher is special.
Okay, next.
Okay. So what I really like about Miss Lopez is that like whenever you get mad, she doesn't really get on to you like all the other teachers. She helps you reset and calm down instead of just like sitting you out or giving you recessed attention. Overall, she's nice, funny, and I just really like her.
How does she help you reset and calm down?
So
That's
she
the
kind of takes
coolest.
you into the hallway. She talks about the stuff and say like, how can you fix that? And yeah, how can you fix that? And like once you talk, you either go back to your seat and keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, so it doesn't feel like some big problem. It's just like a bump in the road, and then
No,
you get a
only
chance
sometimes.
Not
Yeah.
only sometimes, but not really though. She's nice.
She just does that for you when you need it, the reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you experience her as really nice. Will, what do you mean by that?
I think she's really nice because like if we like mess up on like something, like if it's a worksheet or something that hands out and we think it's really hard, if we mess up and we have to do another copy, she says it's fine and it's okay, and then she doesn't care, and then she'll like come over and help you with it, and then yeah, you'll get it, and then yeah.
Nice. So like you feel supported, and also it's not the end of the world if
Yeah.
you mess up.
She makes
She cares a lot about us, and yeah.
she
cares
makes
a lot about
everybody she makes everybody feel special.
How does she do that? Like what's the way?
So basically what she does, she always she gives everybody the same amount of attention. Like well to first say if Mean will always get the same exact attention because she's always reliable and super nice. She's reliable because like you can trust her, like you can tell her stuff, and then you can trust her that she won't tell anybody.
Wow.
And I feel like that's a super big thing you need to do in teaching.
That's really good advice. Like you feel safe to completely be yourselves, to mess up sometimes, and she's gonna be kind, and she's gonna keep your confidences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That makes you want to
Like-
go to school every day.
Yeah.
The mostly big part about school is I really want to see her because she's nice and funny. The reason she's funny is because she's like super like sarcastic and like in a good way, and
Like she has a really good sense of humor that's like
Yeah.
sarcastic.
Yeah.
yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, I'll never let. Like, if we can't find our papers, she's like, I don't lose papers because I'm the best teacher." And she's like all that, and it's funny.
Yeah.
So like when you get up in the morning, you're like, I know I'm going to be entertained today, and I'm
Yeah.
going to learn at the same time. That's big. So tell me, like, as you're ending a school year with her, what do you know about her now that you would tell the kids who are going to have her that don't know her, like the third graders that are about to be fourth graders? If you were going to prepare them to be in Miss Lopez's class, what would you say to them?
Don't worry, she's not strict at all. She's super funny, really sarcastic in a good way, and like kind, nice, and trustworthy. She doesn't lose any like that much stuff. Like if you hand something to her, she will make sure to like give it back to you.
Yeah, that's really not. If I was the third grader about to be a fourth grader and you told me that, I'd be like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Make me feel better.
that.
What about you, Max? What would you say to the incoming
I would say
fourth
that
grader?
she is. I'll tell them that it's okay. Just try your best on everything. She'll always like forgive you if you do something mean. She jokes around. She jokes around a lot, and it's in a funny way. And I would tell them that it's. I would tell them that it's always fine if you mess up. She'll always like. If you ever get sad, she'll always like bring you out in the hallway, talk about what's
comfort
wrong,
you.
and comfort you. That's what she. That's
sounds
yeah. That's what
amazing.
she does.
It sounds like y'all are gonna miss her.
Yeah. But
I plan to stop by her room
at least
every
we'll still be
morning.
in the same
Oh, that's
school
nice.
as her. So like we just stop by our so we're just gonna like stop by our teachers and just like say hi before
love
school starts, so we go back into our class after.
Oh, I love that. So not only is she there for you that year, but you know she's going to be there for
Yeah.
you to touch base and stop by even next
Yeah.
year. Okay, I have a hard question for you. Are you up for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of.
When you think about yourself a year ago, what do you feel like changed about you as a person because of having Miss Lopez as a teacher?
Wait, I'm like
Oh
more
yeah.
like
You go.
so like I'm more like confident and like I'm not as much like scared to go to another grade level because of Miss Lopez, because she makes us like she comforts us like a lot, and it's I like her a lot.
Yeah, like you believe in yourself more, you feel more confident, more strong, less
Oh, yeah.
scared. That's
Like
big.
I'm less scared to go to 5th grade
Yeah, fifth grade. Come on, fifth grade.
because reading is hard, but she's a reading teacher, but she makes it like easier for you. That's why I'm less nervous to go to 5th grade. For the
Yeah, because you know you'll take those skills
reading
with
fifth
you.
grade. Yeah, I'll take them. Yeah.
But it sounds like she taught you reading, but she also taught you that you're a reader, that you have that in you, and that you can do the challenges, and it just makes you more confident.
Oh yeah.
There's always,
makes
there's
me a
always
lot
this
more
one.
confident.
There's always
Yeah.
this one quote that she always says. She says, "You would change the world, and you are valuable," and that really uplifts me.
Wait a minute, say that again.
So she has this one quote. You would change the world, and you are valuable.
She makes us say that every single day before we walk into our classroom.
No kidding. And did you start to believe it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Max, talk about what you think changed about you this year.
I was also gonna say that I got a lot more confident because in reading, because I used to be not good at ECRs at all. But when I got into her class, at the beginning I still wasn't very good. But when we progressed through the grade, I've gotten a lot better. I feel like she's the best reading teacher I've had so far.
And
Wow.
also a good thing she'll do. She like even there's this girl named Via in my class, and then like Miss Lopez flew to her cheer competition, which is out of the state, and she'll do that for like any like basketball game, cheer, soccer, or anything like that.
way.
To my
Yeah,
class.
she'll go to like your games.
She cares that much about y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were going to like tell other teachers and counselors and administrators across the whole country what they should do that you see Miss Lopez doing, what would be like the number one thing you'd be like, oh my gosh, more teachers should do this?
be kind to your students and like help them boost up their confidence and help them boost up your confidence and then like lift them up kinda and like
Yeah.
make them feel good about themselves.
That's awesome. Because then you can handle anything that happens, right? Like 5th grade is, come on, I can do this.
Yeah.
That's nice. What about you, Max? What would you
Honestly,
think?
I would really like if a lot more teachers, when you come in, you either get like a fist bump hug, you have to say like a quote. That would be super cool if that were
Yeah.
to go
That'll
around the
boost them
district.
too.
Wow. Because that moment when you get there, she greets you each individually and you feel like connected to her and then ready to learn? Or what
Yeah.
would you say?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like
We're
ready
connected,
to learn,
ready to learn, confident.
Connected, ready to
confident.
learn,
It
confident.
gives us a big boost and like it makes us feel good about ourselves and like ready to learn. Like yeah.
She
ready to
sounds
knock that time
amazing.
out. Yeah, she is.
Amazing. If is there anything else you all wanted to make sure we talked about in introducing Miss Lopez that I haven't asked about?
I think.
Hold up. Nothing really. All that I know is she's kind and really like cares a lot about you. She's nice, really not strict and good.
Yeah, so many compliments. Like I feel like people are going to feel like they know her because of the way y'all describe her. It's really rich description.
Like I know everyone that from 3rd grade that goes into 4th grade in her class. I know that they're definitely gonna like her as a teacher.
She
She's
sounds
fun.
special.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this. This is another one that kind of is a little bit of a head scratcher. When you picture yourselves older, like Miss Lopez's age, how do you think you'll interact with kids because of what she taught you?
Like, you know how she's kind to other kids? I'm probably gonna be like that and then like nice and not like she has a lot amount of patience. She's not impatient. She's really patient.
Yeah, I was going to talk about patience too. She has a really big patience because she doesn't give you she doesn't really even give you 3 chances. She gives you a lot more than just 3 chances.
So also like one time we had an ECR to do, right? And it was due so pretend it was Tuesday and it was due this Friday. A lot of people weren't done with it, so she didn't care. She still just moved it up to Tuesday due. So like she has a lot of patience.
Yeah, it sounds like she's paying attention to what's happening with each person and then also with the group. And she just wants to support your learning instead of like having rules just to have rules.
Yeah.
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 And whenever she tells us our grades and pronounces it to the class, she either asks us if we want her to tell the other people too, or if we come up to her and then she tells us, like just us.
Oh, she respects your privacy in that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we go to her interview so people can get to know her for themselves, if you had a message that you wanted to say directly to her, because she'll be listening to this too, would you mind, maybe Max, you start and just give your message directly to Miss Lopez? Anything you want to say to her?
So Miss Lopez, you're an amazing teacher. I really hope you keep teaching because you're super good at it. And overall, I think you should teach for a very long time because I bet kids will really like you if you keep teaching.
So good. Thank you, Max. What about you, Will?
Miss Lopez, you're a really nice teacher, and everyone like you. And remember that every 3rd grader that moves up to 4th grade know that they will like you as a good teacher. And you're funny and nice and kind and trustworthy. And
So perfect. Here's my invitation to the two of you.
Okay.
Anytime you have something that you want to talk about that you think teachers should know about or that's just on your heart, you have an open invitation to come back to the podcast and tell us your thoughts. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, because you're total pros. You did such a good job. All right, well, we'll wrap it up and get to know Miss
right, yeah.
Lopez. Thanks, guys.
All right. Welcome.
Bye.
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 Welcome, Carly.
Thank you for having me, Michelle. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. I take your excitement and I raise you more excitement because you are our first person on the podcast who has been nominated by students, which
That makes me,
it's the highest honor.
I know, it makes me feel so good to know that. I had no idea.
And Will and Max apparently can't stop talking about you.
Oh,
You make them feel seen and like you care about them as people in a way that really has their attention. And they're fourth graders, right?
they are, yes, fourth graders.
They're in your current class.
They are.
And so are we catching you at the end of a long day of teaching to record?
Yes, we actually had STAR today, the math STAR test.
Oh
So
my gosh.
we've been testing all day, and I'm so glad it's over with. Today was the last one of the year. So I'm so ready for the kids to be just feeling more relaxed and feeling so much better about. And I know it's only 3 weeks left, but I mean, we can make it so much fun. So I'm ready for that.
Oh, okay. Even in your answer, you made it about the kids. It tells me everything I could ever hope to know about you. But you also must be like, get me like some exhale from the week you've had, huh?
Definitely. But I mean, like I said, just thinking about making it fun for them from here on out, it's just exciting to do. So I'm ready to start planning those days and getting all the fun things into the classroom. And I'm saying that it hasn't been fun before, but now it's more freedom to just, make it fun for them.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Well, tell us your story.
Well, I started growing up, I've always wanted to be a teacher. And it was just one of those things where I'm an only daughter and I have 3 brothers, so it's 4 of us. And I am the oldest, so I remember sitting there teaching my brothers how to do on the wall. I would put things up on the wall, and it was just one of those things. But as I started getting older, I actually steered more towards becoming a nurse. And then I did that. I went to school to become a nurse. I started taking classes and I went the full route. And then I decided, you know what? This is not what I want to do. This is not who I am. And then I completely changed my direction. And I said, I'm getting my bachelor's degree in education. So that's what I did. And here I am now.
Wow.
This is my 5th year teaching. And I did take a break because I have 4 kids and I just wanted to be able to raise them myself rather than somebody else raise them for me. So I took that break, and now I'm back and I'm so happy to be back. It's just what I love to do. So here I am now.
How old are your babies?
So I have a 3-year-old at home. I have a 7-year-old. She just turned 7 on Saturday. I have a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Oh my gosh, you're in the thick of it.
I know. I know that one day I'm going to miss the stage. So I'm trying to soak it all in while I can and, get the best out of it.
Yes, my baby is graduating high school next month. So I am feeling everything you're saying to my core. It's
Yes.
hard work, but it's delicious memories at every stage.
I know. I'm ready for those days, but I'm also not.
Yeah, totally. So, what do you think it is about how you teach that got Will and Max's attention so dramatically? Do you know?
I've been told many times that I just do things naturally. I don't see it, but I think for the most part, and I've come into teaching with the idea that you have to love the kids before you can teach them. You have to show them that you love them before you can teach them. And I think that just leads the way through it all.
I mean, you say that so like it's a simple thing, but boy, that is such a North Star grounding concept. And I imagine everyone around you isn't coming at it in that same way. Is that what you find?
I do. I always tell, and it's just, there's a lot to the story. I've always wanted to grow and go back to school to be admin, but it's just hard for me to leave the kids because I know I can make a greater impact. And I always hear, you can do it up above too, but I don't, it's just hard. But I do, I try to push it on other educators and teachers. We always have to make sure to understand the child first and understand that if the child doesn't feel respected or loved or wanted, they aren't going to respect you and take what you're trying to teach them easily. So I've always said that. Like I said, I don't know if it just comes naturally. I just love kids. I love my kids. And I tell my husband, I don't have 4 kids. I have 68 because I have 3 classes and each class has 20 students. So I just love them as my own. And I always want somebody, I want to treat these kids as if they were my own, and I want my kids to be treated in a classroom as if they were the teacher's kids, so that's just what I live on, and it's worked, and I love the kids, and I know that they know I love them. They truly do, but that's where we stand now. So
I mean, that definitely comes across from Will and Max, and they're 10-year-old boys. So for them to spontaneously offer how much they feel appreciated and seen and known by their teacher is just such a huge deal to me.
And I'm so glad you say that to me because every day I truly strive to get to know every kid personally, from their siblings to their parents to everything that they do, just so I know that I can make an impact in them and I can refer to certain things in their life so they know that they are important. There's actually a survey that goes out to students, and this was when I was working for Dallas ISD. And this survey is for social emotional learning. And one of the questions, it was rating the teacher on how you believe she cares about you and the different things that you do in the classroom to make them feel seen. One of the questions was, I scored really well on a lot of them, but one of the questions asked, do you feel that your teacher truly cares about you? And a lot of them answered no. And that was my first year teaching. And whenever they were given a box to answer, one of them was, they don't feel seen because I don't go to their sporting events or whatever it is that they put in there, like those small details in life that we think aren't important but truly are very, very important to them. So I took it upon myself, and not because I didn't care before to not do this for the students, but because I didn't think they truly wanted me there. So now I ask my students, if you have a game, let me know. I will be there, just so that they know that I truly do care, and it's not that I didn't care before, but I just pushed
Like
it.
opened your eyes. Yeah.
Definitely. So that made me feel really bad. So that made me reflect and change and become a better individual, a better teacher, and just be there more for my students in that way.
How do you do that in a way that doesn't deplete you?
That's a hard question to answer because I feel like it does.
Yeah.
But it fulfills me to know that they feel seen. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that it bothers me or it, I'm just in the moment, at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe as the years go by, I don't know. I just love it. So I'm tired, but I will be there, you know.
It's that showing up and
Definitely.
even the asking the questions of like, what do you play and when are your games? Even if you can't go, just caring at that level, I bet makes an impression.
Yes, for sure. I know Will and Max, they told me about their mom. Their mom paints. I don't know if you knew that. She's an amazing artist. So I took it upon myself to text her and say, hey, like they told me that you paint and I want to see your, and she texted me, she showed me her paintings and it was so beautiful. So now I have something to conversate with Will and Max about because I know that she does that. And it's just so many things that I try to get from the kids so I can personally connect with them because they're all so different and they all have their own things going on. So I want each one of them to know that they're important in their own way.
I wonder if all of that front loading, that relational front loading that you do, then has them show up in your classroom in a way that is still really hard work, obviously, but like less stressful because there's that connection and that relational closeness and interplay. Does it impact how they show up in your classroom in terms of behavior or attention?
Definitely. I've always said that the number one way to classroom management is being able to relate to children, or being able to just connect with them. One of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten in life overall, a mother of one of my students last year told me that her son was just not very fond of reading and he hated reading class and he hated just anything RLA. And now he just wants to go to school to be an RLA teacher. So that really touched me. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is such a good compliment to give me, only because I know I'm truly touching hearts. And I'm not sure what it was, but now he's on his way to wanting to become an RLA teacher. So,
Wow. That feels really important to me because I think when people are overwhelmed and overextended, sometimes our tendency is to want to like shrink and tighten and do less of like the connecting and interacting as humans and do more of the kind of drill and kill. But that actually doesn't lead to the better learning. It's like the way you're
definitely not.
teaching leads to the learning.
Yes, definitely. Like I said, it has to be, you have to be able to connect with these kids. You have to be able to learn them. We have a lot of children that come from different backgrounds in life and just their, whether it's their emotional state or whatever it is, whatever they're going through in life, and you have to be able to learn how to navigate through those things to get to the child to understand them on a deeper level. And if you don't, that's never going to help. It's not going to help you in the classroom, and I've experienced that, and I know that we have to understand these kids. They're babies, and I always think of it as, even as an adult, we struggle through things, and children are allowed to do the same. We just have to be able to help them because we've of course lived longer and we've been through so many more things than they have. So we have to learn to teach them how to navigate through these difficulties in life, whether it's emotional or whatever it is that they're going through.
I'm glad you brought up the like even as adults, because I'm just thinking about like as I go through my day, when I'm interacting with someone that I feel like really cares, sees me, is like having a human to human interaction instead of just like a transactional one. I feel like I would, put 700 pounds of potatoes on my back and walk up a mountain for them. Even if it's like someone like a grocery store clerk, like it ignites something in me. And I think that is times 100 for kids who are developing, because they're like figuring out their identity based on how we treat them and how we see them.
Definitely, and I've experienced seeing these very difficult kids change in one instant, go from one kid to another, and even like seeing the change within the year. And I know that's a long time, but it's not if you think about them being 10 years old and they've been going through life for 9 years just with these emotional issues. And then they come to you and you just see that change within 4 to 6 months. And you're just like, wow, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If I see you here and you are changing, and I know I'm here for a reason. So
It makes me cry. Like,
I
that's
know,
really
just-
it's everything. Yeah.
yes.
Hi, I'm Katie Worden, producer of Oxygen for Educators. I want to spotlight our sponsor, TackyBox. TackyBox is an elementary school program that pairs innovative content with a tactile tool in daily practice to teach children to self-monitor their own words and actions and their responses to others. It's a proven tool that reduces behavior incidents by 66%. Through daily self-reflection, students build self-awareness, self-regulation, and meaningful connections. TackyBox is a light lift for teachers with a big impact on student well-being. Go to tackybox.com to learn more and become a TackyBox district.
At the beginning of our conversation, you talked about how this is the last day of the state testing. Now you can kind of have a little more freedom on how y'all structure your days and what you do, and you can infuse more fun. We've heard that from many educators that we work with. If you had a magic wand, what would your year look like to achieve the same learning goals or even greater, and not be constricted by things like state testing? Like, what would be different if you were queen?
Number one would be flexible seating. I would get rid of tables and chairs completely. And I think that in itself would be an extreme change just for the children and their learning.
Yeah.
I think that would, and I know it would. I mean, just think about as an adult, whenever you work, you want to just, whether it is working in bed or wherever you want to work on the couch. And I just hate that we have to restrict these kids to sitting in a chair. So I already do a lot of that, but I think they truly push for us to, like, have them seated in certain places or like grouped in certain ways. And I understand that, but I think just restricting them just to the chairs and tables is keeping them from their full potential. I know that sounds crazy, but I do truly believe that. Flexible
it's so
seating.
interesting. Yeah.
Flexible seating, a lot of hands-on activities. I wish I had all of the money in the world. I would do so many crazy things with them in the classroom, and just it's just one of those things where at the moment it's not possible. I'm hoping that I can make a change somehow in the future.
Like what? What would you do? What would be an
It's just-
example?
Flexible seating would be the first one. I was sitting in an interview the other day for a teacher that was interviewing for the school I worked at, and she said that at her school they are allowed to walk into the hallways and they have like different seat types of seating or like bean bags, and they're able to take their iPads out there and just learn with each other and collaborate with different classrooms, and just like that's just
freedom.
huge. Yes, the freedom to be able to do those things. And, it's just, I think it'll open up so many other aspects for the children just to be able to collaborate with different kids in the school. I feel like we're so confined just to the classrooms that we're in. We don't get to explore outside of the classroom like we should.
Well, you are in such deep relationship with all your students. You trust them, they trust you. So I think you don't feel the need to like confine and control them in terms of how they're seated or where they are in the classroom, because there's a sense of safety in your classroom because it's relational.
Definitely, I think I've also pushed being able to respect one another. I always say to them, you treat others the way that you want to be treated, and if that means that you are kind to your partner, just because you have to at this moment in time, then that's okay. We will learn to grow from that, and then we will get where we need to be later. So we just we're all friends in the classroom, and I think I've taught them that it's okay to not always like everyone, but we're gonna be kind. So
Yeah. And we're all working on it. I love
yes,
that. Like,
definitely, we're all working on it.
everybody's working on it. We have better days and worse days, but we're all working on it.
Yes.
Do you have a memory or a sense of what early relationships in your own life instilled these values in you?
I feel like growing up, it's I think it's a lot of what I did go through when I was in school. There wasn't a lot of guidance, and it was a lot of like, I guess, free for all, and we all just do what we want and treat people how we want to treat them. And I was very quiet and very shy, and I think I was just always left out, and I didn't like that. So I wanted to definitely make a change, and that's one of the things that I focus on in the classroom. Never leave a friend out. I try to do a lot of activities in the classroom where they do presentations, or when they where they collaborate and put together like songs and poems and stuff like that, so that they can all hear each other, and so that they're all able to lose the fear of like standing in front of the classroom. And I think that that's helping them. I wish I would have done that when I was younger, because I was so scared. I went through my entire elementary school and middle school years just being scared of life, and I don't want them to go through that. So I just want to push them to step out of their shell and just be
I
the
wanna be
best
in your
version of
classroom.
themselves.
Katie and Chris and I would like to enroll in your class.
Oh.
If we dressed like fourth graders, do you think you could blend us in?
For sure, for sure. We welcome everyone.
There's a great quote, like, be who you needed when you were younger. Have you seen that?
I have, yes.
Feels to me like how you operate. You
Yes.
remember what you wish adults were doing when you were growing up that would have been supportive of you, and you extend that to the kids.
I definitely lived through that with everyone in my life, not just my students, but my children, the people I work with, everyone. And I hope that I'm doing a great job at it. And if I'm not, I work on it every single day. I definitely reflect a lot. That's what I do every single night. So I truly do live by that.
Knowing that you're pouring out to, what'd you say, 68 kids, 64?
64. I have 4 of my
64
own.
kids, yes. Knowing that you're pouring your heart and soul out to your 64 kids, 60 in the school and 4 at home, what do you do to refuel? What are your practices that help you stay grounded and resourced?
I love crafting.
Tell me more.
Whenever I do have free time, and people think I'm crazy because I work past midnight. I work on myself past midnight. I like to paint. Of course, I'm not as great as Miss Kent, but I just do like, paintings and like scrapbooking. I love to scrapbook. I love listening to podcasts. So on my way home, sometimes when I'm driving by myself, which is pretty rare, I listen to podcasts. I just like being alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just come to work. I tell my husband, he's off on weekends, and I tell my husband, I just need to go to the classroom just for a little bit. And that's just my time to myself. And that just helps me like alleviate a lot of the,
Yeah.
stress or whatever it is that is going on.
Like I heard in that, like creativity, being alone, being quiet, learning.
Learning, yes.
Those are kind of your go-tos.
They are. I love to learn.
Yeah.
It's I love school. I wish I could go to school for the rest of my life, honestly. It's it feels like a great accomplishment anytime I do fulfill each step. So all of it.
You are such a breath of fresh air. I wish there was a way to have a you in every single classroom.
You're so
I
sweet.
really do. I just think it's like medicine. It's so important, and it so creates the conditions for kids to do their best learning. And you just seem crystal clear about it.
Definitely, yeah. Like I said, you have to be able to connect with these students. You have to be able to love them first before you can teach them. And I will go by that because it's 100% true every single time.
In your district, do they have like opportunities to mentor new teachers, or do you ever go speak in like teacher prep type things or anything like that?
They do. You're gonna laugh at me. I am very like antisocial and in my bubble, so I try to steer clear of all of that.
That's
I
part of your
know.
recipe. That's one of the ways you
Yes.
stay. Yeah.
I don't know, but the new admin at my school, she just keeps pushing me. She's like, you need to go back to school to become an admin. And I'm like, I can't leave my babies. That's not possible. I know they say you can definitely make a change high, higher than just teacher, but it's just one of those things. It's
You are where you feel most able to make the difference.
yes, yeah, I do feel like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've definitely looked at every aspect of it and every situation, and I don't think that there's ever if I was an assistant principal, I couldn't see myself being able to pour into the kids like I do every single day in the classroom. And I know I get to build relationships, but it would never be the same. It wouldn't be the same as I do in the classroom.
My hunch is that you could have a full career in the classroom and it would be extraordinary. At some point, you may want a different role, and that would be extraordinary. Like you're going to get to write your own ticket, and whatever role you're in, I imagine you would just ripple out so much goodness and care for whoever is in your classroom or school or whatever you end up doing.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
No, I mean it.
I hope to one day for sure. I really want to do something huge. I don't know what it is yet, but whatever it is, one day it'll happen. So, and it's all for the kids.
Right.
All for the kids. I always look at it in like in the future. Just I can only imagine just like seeing these kids and like the big things they do in life, and I'm gonna say I was a part of that, and that's just so refreshing to know that one day there's gonna be a lot of these kids are gonna do amazing things in life, and we were part of that from kindergarten all the way through all the teachers through their school years. So it's just amazing to know that.
I mean, there's nothing more important than what you just said. Like, that's it. Just pouring into the next generation and giving them a chance to become who they're meant to be and do their work in the world. Like, that is sacred.
For sure, yes.
I didn't want to move too fast past a comment you made because I think it could really help people that are listening. I asked you about like mentoring or, teacher prep, and and you said, hey, this is what works for me, so I stay in this lane, which is such a recipe for well-being, because talented people who say yes to everything pretty quick are diluted and frayed and exhausted, and I get the sense just from this little time talking to you that you're like, this is my work and I want to be laser focused on doing it brilliantly. And I'm okay if I can't do 700 other things that I also could do well, but I don't want to dilute myself or my well-being, my care for my children, all of the things that are your priority.
Definitely. I feel like anybody who puts their mind to anything is capable of it. And I always try to give myself positive self-talk. I am capable, but I am okay where I am now. And this is what I love to do. So this is where there's a balance between my all of my kids, my school kids, my personal kids, and it works. And my personal kids know I love my school kids, and vice versa. So like we're all making it work, and it works for now. So
Phenomenal. When you knew you were going to come and visit with us on the podcast, was there anything that you thought, oh, I want to make sure I say this or that we talk about this?
I just want, just imagine how amazing it would be for all of my kids now, like my students, to watch this and know that I truly love them. I just want educators to know that, and I say this all the time, these kids are fragile. A lot of these kids come from, whether it's financial poverty, emotional poverty, it's all different struggles that they go through in life. And a lot of these kids come to school to learn because they are loved at home, but a lot of them come to school to be loved, and we have to remember that every single day. So just making sure to put that message out there. We have to love these kids because they count on us every single day.
I'd be a fool to add anything else. That's just the perfect note to end on. You are a gift to the world, your students, but then also everyone who's watching you and taking their cues for how you show up. I feel changed by getting to talk to you. I really want to pay so much more attention to that equation of loving, preceding learning, or anything else transactional. Like that deep care and connection comes first if you want the other to really sparkle. And you're going to be who I think about as I think more and more about that.
Oh, you're sweet. Yeah, I always say that. Love the kids, and I'm not sure if I come across as pushy or come across as, we know what we're doing, stop telling us what to do. But I just truly, I've always said to anywhere I've been, and my husband and everyone else, if I do choose a teacher for my kid, it's somebody who's going to love them. I don't care about their experience. I don't care about what they know. I don't care about where they came from, where they've taught before. If they don't love my child, everything else doesn't matter, because they're not going to be in a comfortable environment to learn. So that's what I believe, and that's what I'm going to stick to. And
I mean, I challenge people that are listening to really think about their own children. I have two daughters. Both are, my youngest is about to graduate high school, so they've gone through, 2 cycles of 18 years. And 100% I can tell you in which classrooms they felt loved and how they showed up as learners, and in which classrooms they felt invisible or judged or anything like that, and how they shut down as learners. And it's a 1-to-1 equation every time. So you're
I
right.
agree. And I try, like I said, we're not perfect. None of us are. So every time I feel like I made a mistake as an adult, I apologize and I say, I am so sorry. if I made you feel a certain type of way, please tell me what I did wrong and how I can fix it to make you feel better. I think that always leads the way also to making them feel safe and helping them understand that I'm an adult and I make mistakes and you're allowed to make mistakes as well. So, yeah.
Your approach is so informed and also so intuitive. And there are so many layers to what you're doing right. I could write a book about it. And it is just a huge honor to know you.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. And hopefully you'll get to listen to the episode and hear Will and Max introduce you and talk a little bit about how you've impacted them, and just stay in touch with us, because as you're going through your career, if there's ever anything you think you want to come back on and update us about, or you want help amplifying something that you're doing, we're in your corner from here till the end of time.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we should tell listeners you go by Carly, but also your family, Careli, right?
Careli, yes. You said that perfectly.
And do you have a preference?
No,
Or does it just depend?
I always go by Carly, and funny story, even when I text my name, I remove the E because it just makes it hard for everyone to pronounce, and I just don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. So it's like, it's Carly, but my name is Careli if you want to call me by my name.
Yes. Well, to Careli, who sometimes goes by Carly, sometimes drops the E, all of the versions of you, thank you for your beautiful heart and your beautiful time, and go celebrate the final STAR test day, and hopefully the next 3 weeks are just full of great end of school year learning and joy for you and the kids.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, proud aunt, let's hear what stood out from you in getting to hear Will and Max nominate Miss Lopez, and then getting to hear Miss Lopez, Carly/Careli, talk about her philosophy and how she shows up in such a powerful way.
That was quite an opener and quite a question. Yeah, Will and Max were amazing, as I expected them to be. But I'll tell you a story which really jumped out at me. I think the thing that was fascinating to me, I watched them first and listened to them because I'm a proud aunt. Auntie C, by the way, is what I'm called.
Auntie C.
So I watched it through that lens. Then I watched your interview with Miss Lopez, and then I watched them again. Mm-hmm. And what stood out to me was that all of their comments, all of their examples tied directly to who she intentionally decided she was going to show up as in that classroom. So that was just beautiful to me to see.
That's cool that you did it that way.
And it was just, it wasn't intentionally done that way, but it helped me to see so many things, because if you think about the comments that they made, they were all emotional, and, they felt safe, they felt seen, they felt safe to make mistakes, all of those comments. And that was such an output of her choice to love first, teach second.
In my notes, I also put the word intentionality. I think both of us zoomed in on that. I loved her story about when she was a brand new teacher, and in a survey, she got all this good feedback, but she also heard that the teachers didn't feel like she knew them, or was, I don't remember the exact wording, but it was so cool to listen to her just so unapologetically be like, I got this feedback, so I started thinking about it. I started being intentional. So that's why I do this now, and that's why I do that now. I'm like, that no matter what role you have, that's how we should all be living.
Well, and you're segueing into one of the specific examples I wanted to talk about was at that dinner. So we went to dinner as a family before their basketball games on a Friday night. And of course, who would you sit by at the table if you had the opportunity to sit by those two? So I, of course, was sitting by them, and Will was watching the door because Miss Lopez might be coming to the basketball game. So why he thought she might be coming to the restaurant before too, I'm not sure, but it was so precious. But he talked about that. She actually, when she doesn't have things with her kids, she actually goes to her students' activities. And if you remember, that's the decision that she made. That was in that survey, that she didn't come to their activities. So the fact that she has 4 kids and still makes the effort to go to activities, and Will even commented that she flew to Via's cheer competition to see her cheer. Yeah,
Incredible.
but it matters.
It matters. And, if there's anyone listening that's like, I am drowning and this is the bar, I can do no more than I'm already doing. How am I going to do that? She's such a beacon. She's like such an exceptional example of the showing up. But the showing up can be micro moments of just knowing your kid is a kid in your classroom plays basketball, knowing a kid in your classroom is going to a cheer competition and asking about it before and after. Like there are very impactful light lift ways to live into her philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Even her example about finding out that Kendall paints and texting Kendall so that she could then talk to them in the classroom about that. Like there's an example of what you're talking about at a different level.
Yeah. So smart.
One thing I thought about, because you asked her the question about if she had a magic wand, I was thinking about if I had a magic wand, I would want every educator to truly embody her mantra of you have to love the kids first before they can learn. That really is powerful to me. And again, I think everything that the boys said in their interview is a direct correlation to that choice that she's made.
Yeah, that they feel it and it changes how they show up, period. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I imagine it also changes her experience. Like how different to be in a room with kids that you think of as your kids and you feel deep love for them and deep connection to them, spending the day with them versus spending the day with 20 little people who have big needs and lots of questions, and you're just in a transactional mindset. The first one sounds like it would fuel you, and the second one sounds exhausting and painful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you could tell that it fueled her.
Yeah.
Or fuels her.
Yeah. You could totally tell it fuels her. And then I made a note. It was so interesting. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, it would be worth looking at this point in the conversation with her. When I asked her how she lives into this philosophy without feeling depleted herself. And the pause, there was so much in that pause because you could tell she is depleted, like all educators across this country are feeling right now. Like, this is hard. This is a lot. And then she went on and talked about, it is hard. She does sometimes feel tired, but it's important to her to be there. And it also engages and fuels her to live into this purpose. I thought that was a powerful thing to witness.
I actually made the note, her direct quote, when after the pause, she said, "It fulfills me to know they feel seen." Mm-hmm. And it made me think about our interview with Alex Vesely and when he talked about when you are doing work that is meaningful and you're walking in your purpose, while it can be hard and it can drain you, it's not necessarily draining you in a harmful way. Mm-hmm. And she does a great job of knowing what she needs: creativity, learning, her alone time. I love that her happy place where she goes on the weekend was her classroom.
To get some time.
To be alone.
It was so cute. And the way she lit up talking about how she does like scrapbooking and painting, and that she'll stay her, I think she said, yeah, people laugh at me because I'll stay up like past midnight working on myself.
Working on herself. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So just a reminder of knowing your list of things that fuel you and making sure you do those to take care of yourself.
She also said that she has like a major commitment to self-reflection. I forget how she
I wrote
worded
that down
it,
too. Yeah.
but you could tell.
She said daily.
Yeah.
That's how she ends her day, in self-reflection.
Yeah, you could really tell. Wow, powerful presence.
This is the year your girl discovers what she loves. She'll make lifelong friends, smile till her cheeks ache, and explore amazing places. She'll try new things, climb higher, and lend a helping hand. She'll change her world, adventuring in ways you never imagined. She'll grow in confidence, turn dreams into reality, and find her voice. And through it all, she'll have big fun. Give your girl the opportunity to grow with Girl Scouts. Visit girlscouts.org/join today.
What about Max's comment that every morning she has them say, "You will change the world and you are valuable"? Think about that. I mean, of course their confidence grew over the year if that's how they're starting every single day. And the fact that Max could connect that to confidence growing was really amazing to me too. And of course they both said they also got better at reading and they feel more confident in their academic skills. But that couldn't have happened without them feeling so connected to her, I dare say.
No, absolutely. And if there's anything that comes out of this podcast in terms of the thread of all the interviews, I hope that this is somehow chipping away at this dominant and ridiculous narrative that academics and all of the other ways we grow humans are somehow at odds, instead of fueling each other and preparing the soil for the academic learning. Like, I don't know how we lost our way so dramatically around that in this country and in this state, but we have lost our way in terms of the macro conversation. Now, everyone we talk to in terms of what they're doing and how they're doing it, they have not lost their way. They're very clear. But the systems that we've put in place make it so that that's hard, instead of us having systems in place that make that flow like a river. So shame on us, and yay for them for staying clear and just showing up in the way they know kids need. What else jumped for you?
The struggle between administration and classroom is real. The number of times that she said, because she is so good at what she's doing and impactful, people are suggesting that she goes to administration. I think about the many people that we've talked about who are in administration, and they kind of wistfully think about the days that their classroom days and miss that. That's just got to be really hard. And I can't, I feel like because she is seemingly so fueled by those relationships with the kids, she would definitely miss that. But just knowing that that struggle exists is tough. And I loved her perspective. And I hope other educators that listen to this kind of latch on to that. But I loved her perspective of knowing that kids in her classroom are going to go on to become amazing things, and she had a hand in that. I mean, I can guarantee you that Will and Max Kent will never forget her.
It makes me think about how a lifelong teacher becoming more and more of a master teacher, that is an elevation in a career. You don't have to leave the classroom to elevate your career. And, we should probably talk more about that, because a teacher who stays in the classroom, amazing. An amazing teacher like Miss Lopez deciding they want to step into like a broader sphere of influence by moving into administration, amazing. But it shouldn't be either or. Yeah. I felt like her understanding of how interactions with the kids and how she sees them and how she makes them feel is shaping their identity went so deep with her. I don't know what else to say, except it was just like the mixture of informed and intuitive in her. There's like special magic. Like, she's clearly very informed, and she's off the charts intuitive in terms of knowing what kids need. I don't know.
I made
a
a comment. These are your words that you use all the time, but simplicity backed by a lot of complexity, which is what I think you're saying. It seems like a very simple message, but there's clearly wisdom and depth and a real understanding of humanity behind the choices that she's making. But when you say love first, teach second, that sounds like a simple message, but it's not.
What else? Anything else you want to highlight?
I really liked the thought. You used these words to sum up your conversation, but be who you needed when you were younger. And just her intentionality around, poetry and having them stand up in front of the classroom. And so many times over the course of the year when the boys were preparing for a presentation, or I know the poetry contest she was talking about because I read their poems. They were so into it and excited to do it. And I would ask them, are you nervous? No, not really nervous. And that's such a gift that she's giving them.
Yeah.
To create a space where you don't feel nervous to do that is really remarkable.
And you don't get to that place unless it's okay to be a work in progress with support. Like if you're in a classroom, like I forget if it was Will or Max that said, she gives you more than 3 chances. She gives you all the chances. Are you kidding?
And take you out in the hall for reset if you need comfort. That's the way they said it. If you need comfort, not to get in trouble, but to be comforted. I know, right? Really amazing. And I loved her comment that adults struggle, children are allowed to struggle too, and we have to teach them how to navigate life. And that's exactly what she's doing. And they feel that. And they feel that it's okay to make missteps and figure it out.
I was also struck by her passion around flexible seating. And it made me think, like, if there's any administrators listening to this, loosen the ropes around everything that teachers are telling you would work. You know what I mean? It's like,
take the eyes of the teacher with you.
Take the eyes of the teacher with you. Thank you, Jeannie Stone. Yes, it's like, why would we not be directing our decision making from people like Miss Lopez? She's not saying that because it's like a flight of fancy. There's something in that is deep and clear, and she knows it will make a difference in their learning. What's the feedback loop for administrators to be hearing from people like Miss Lopez about those little places that things could get loosened up and decision making could get pushed down to the people doing the work.
I think that's also why I'm so proud, not just because they're my nephews, but to hear the voices of Will and Max, because you can't listen to how they feel about her and not trust that she's doing it right. Mm-hmm. And, they were great students. They excelled in her class, but they grew as humans too. Mm-hmm. And Will's answer to your question about how will he be different because he knew her, when he said he'll be patient and treat other people kindly. I mean, come on.
Come on.
Go, Miss Lopez.
What's your Venmo, Miss Lopez? Oh, so good.
So good. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I mean, there's just so much, but it feels like layers of stuff we've already talked about. I feel like you should have the last word because you made this happen.
Well, the one thing that just brought me a lot of joy, the whole thing brought me joy, but when she talked about, because of the chronological order of how these different pieces were recorded, and she was finishing Star and she was hoping to go out with a bang, the last 3 weeks, when the boys started talking to you before you started recording, and they were talking about the balloons and the dancing and the popcorn and, the bubble gum. I just thought, okay, I'm so glad she got to finish the way she wanted to finish, with fun and freedom and all of that. So, and it sounds like, she'll still be in our family's lives because Will and Max are planning to go by to visit her every day next year anyway.
I mean, does that not just say it all?
It says it all.
Still a touchstone. Well, we've already gotten 2 more nominations without even asking, and this hasn't even aired. So folks that are listening, if you have kids that have had a great experience with a teacher, counselor, administrator, anyone in education that they think we should talk to, we are in progress of setting up a system where it's real easy to submit. But if you look in the show notes, you'll see an email. So if you want to send us something before we get our process set up, do it. And thank you for tuning in, for listening. Thank you to Katie Warden, our producer. And a huge thanks to Will and Max, Auntie C, and also the incomparable Miss Lopez.
Thanks, Michelle.
See you later. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Oxygen for Educators. Please like, share, and follow, and if inclined, leave us a 5-star review so that we can keep making content for you. Let us hear from you if you know someone we should interview or a topic we should cover.